And we are here with another virtual Cardinals Nest. Thanks for watching. I'm Dean Beckman, the Faculty Athletics Representative, and Donny Nadeau, our Sports Information Director, is virtually elsewhere again. Donny, where are you this week?
I'm in Death Valley right now, but we'll travel all over the country to keep you guys entertained.
Excellent, excellent. And today we have members of our Student Athlete Advisory Committee with us. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, Clare Patterson, who has already been on the Cardinals Nest this year, so she's a familiar face. And Clare, what would Coach Foley say about what you have in the background there? I think that's a soccer ball of some sorts, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sitting in my brother's room. That's where I've been doing all my work, and I think it's a piggy bank, actually.
Oh, it's a piggy. Well, that's
bank.
Not yours then, right?
It's not, nope.
Okay. And Sam Borawski, our assistant softball coach. And Sam, are you the advisor for the Student Athlete Advisory Committee?
Yes, I am. This is my third year as the advisor.
Okay. And then Zack Bracken from the men's soccer team. Zack, you're the current president, right? Outgoing president. And Clare is the incoming president. So you'll have some words of advice for her today, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right, Donny, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, Zack, I'm going to start with you because we kind of hit on it before we actually went on the air in that, it's kind of a crazy way to end your season, your senior season. You were fortunate enough as a soccer player to get to play your final senior season, but heading into into finals here in May, can you just kind of talk about how the end to this senior year has been for you?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely not the way I envisioned to go out, but you make do with what you have. But I think finals with school and everything, it's going to be a lot different than what it's been in the past. Obviously, it's all virtual, and I'm not sure how they'll do all the tests. I had a test today, actually, and they send it through a Word doc, and you just print it off and take pictures of it and then send it back, which is kind of weird. But, yeah, I can't imagine how final.
And how about you, Clare? Fortunately for you, you have another year. So you got to play your junior season with the women's basketball team. Again, just kind of your feelings toward this crazy ending to this season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful that I got to play the entire season. It's kind of just seeing all the seniors, and my heart goes out to every single one of them. But it's also a good reminder going into my senior years that time goes by really fast, and we're only given so much time. So we really got to make the most of it and just give it everything we've got. So I think, honestly, it was a good reminder going into senior season.
Sammy, any words of advice for these two? As you've been in both of the, you've been on the SAAC, and now you're the advisor. How do they do it? I mean, how do these we talk about our student athletes and all of the workload that they carry. Now you've got what they're doing on the soccer field, on the basketball court, their schoolwork, and then they add this on top of it. And not only being a part of the advisory council, but being the president of it. Talk about these two a little bit and what they bring to that committee.
Yeah. Well, first off, I think SAAC is a lot of work, and I applaud both for their great leadership and kind of what they do on a daily basis and keeping our group of we're anywhere between 35 to 45 on a given week. So they keep all of them in line and organized and everything. So planning all the events, all of that's another added extra thing, and they just manage it really well. It just takes a special, I think, student athlete to be the president. You have to have a level of motivation and drive because, like I say, they come up with all the ideas, and I'm just there to help facilitate and get them to the right people. So a lot of everything that comes out of it is straight from their minds. So it's really nice to see.
So I'll let you take it.
Yeah, some advice I'd give though, just to keep organized and shoot high. So we always say every year should be the best year. So Clare, you got some big shoes to fill. Zach did a pretty good job this year. So I think she's ready for the challenge though.
Zack, what were some of the things you tried to do this year as a senior and as the president of SAAC, what were some of the events that you were able to hold when we were on campus?
Yeah, so this year we totally redesigned SAAC. So we made 4 different subcommittees, which focused on leadership, mental health, women in sports, and there was something called Cardinal Crew, which was just getting fans to games and fan engagement. So those 4 areas were like our big points that we hit on. With mental health this year, we were able to do something called the Green Bandana Project, which turned out pretty well. I think we were all pretty satisfied. And what that is we had someone come from Winona State, Connie, and give trainings, 3-hour trainings to student athletes. So I think we had 54 to around 60 student athletes at the first meeting. And it was just a 3-hour training on mental health. And then you get a green bandana that kind of shows that you're willing to listen. You're obviously not their therapist or anything, but you can be there to listen and get them help if needed. So kind of breaking the stigma on mental health.
Yeah, and for that, I'd just like to give a quick shout out to kind of the driving forces behind that were junior Justine Schultz on the softball team, who was really active in wanting to get that involved. Karen Hemker was also a great ally towards the project, and Tim Gosson was very helpful in getting that off the ground. So big thanks to all 3 of those for helping.
Sam, I was going to tell you to stop tweeting while you're talking, but then I realized that was a bird in the background.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, okay, Sam, turn your phone off. Well, Zach is the outgoing president.
Zach and Claire.
Go ahead, Dean.
Okay, I was going to say Zack and Clare. It seems like some student athletes are very active and engaged on social media, especially during our time away now from campus. Does SAAC have any involvement with, some of the toilet paper challenges and some of these other videos that are going on around now with social media?
Claire, you want to take it?
Sure. Well, being on the e-board this year, so one of the things we talked about with Tommy as our social media coordinator. So being away from everyone, we wanted to kind of, and with Brian Sisson, he really wanted to push the social media aspect. So we got Tommy to get out on and do the TP challenge and to nominate other people. And so it's been fun to see all the videos. And we're working on making our own video for D3 week and to submit kind of some of those TP challenges and activities and events that we're going to do over the next couple weeks, all in that video, and submit it to the D3 week NCAA to try and get some money for SAAC next year. So.
And Zach, as the outgoing president, if you had some tips for Claire coming in, what would they be?
Yeah, so we've kind of already talked about it. We sat down with our board for next year, but definitely just keeping things organized and planning in advance. Because one thing, it's kind of hard to plan in advance when you, at the end of the year, you get your new board and then summer hits, so you're off campus. But now that we have this time to maybe plan for the future, maybe just planning events and should make things go a lot smoother.
Zach, we didn't get to talk to you in the fall. Men's soccer program, certainly through you and the rest of the seniors, the 4 years that you guys have put in, you guys are definitely heading in the right direction. Can you just kind of sum up as best you can your experience under Coach Bowers and your 4 years at St. Mary's playing men's soccer?
Yeah, that's tough. 4 years summed into one little video, but definitely Coach Bowers is definitely the right guy for the job. He's leading us in the right direction, obviously, as you can see. We were one game short of playoffs this year at MAC. But one thing that we pride ourselves on, being seniors, the senior class that is we changed the culture completely on that soccer team. And I think they're totally moving in the right direction. And there's a bunch of youth infused. Because I think we only graduated 7 seniors and then 2 the year before. So a majority of our team is sophomores and will be juniors and some freshmen coming in now. But yeah, they're definitely heading in the right direction, which is awesome to see. So I'm looking forward to seeing them play next year.
Sam, a quick question for you. We had Nick Winicky on the Cardinals nest recently. He was talking about, obviously the disappointment of not being able to play this spring season. What's the atmosphere around the softball team related to that?
Probably it's very similar right now. Just kind of disappointed because we had a really good spring trip. We were 8-4, and there was a lot of good things to build on, and we were really excited to be able to build on those when we got back, and to kind of have it cut short is obviously disappointing. We're very appreciative and thankful that we did get 12 games, because we know that some teams in the conference and just across the nation didn't get any games, which would have been extremely, extremely disappointing. So we're thankful for that, but kind of a little disappointed and hungry to see what could have been. And I think it's motivating a lot of our athletes to get after it, and hopefully back in the fall we'll get right back to it and kind of pick up where we left off. So just, yeah, disappointing is the best word for it, I think.
And Claire, as a women's basketball player, you had the opportunity to finish your season. What's it like for you to watch some of your friends who are spring sport athletes kind of go what they've been going through?
It's crazy. I mean, two of my closest friends and roommates at school are both spring sports, and I know I always look forward to being able to go out and enjoy the sun and watch the softball games and go to the Winona Tennis Center and cheer on those. And I pride myself on being #1 fan of both of the teams. So just seeing their disappointment in the season and trying to be able to be there for them and encourage them and support them through it has been important for me. So.
Claire,
and Zack, a quick question for you. Academically, what's next for you? You've been a standout both on the soccer pitch and academically. So kind of give us an update on your plans going into the fall.
Yeah, so I'll be taking a gap year, applying to med school during it. And I just accepted a job up in the cities through a program called ETC, which is a scribing program. Basically, I'll be taking notes for doctors throughout the day and submitting them, making their life a little bit easier. And then during that time, apply to med school.
Yeah, and so maybe talk about how your education at St. Mary's has prepared you to go to med school. What have been some of the highlights?
I definitely think that balancing both an athlete being in athletics and being a student has definitely helped me, because majority of academics is just balance. So if you're able to balance the two right, then I don't see a problem with med school whatsoever. Also, the professors, they're great, and they keep you involved and up to date on everything. So that helped me a ton too.
Don't see any problem going to med school, Dean. How about that one?
Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask him. Had to get that in.
Claire, as a returner, and this is something that I'm really curious about, is that, at this time of the year, had we been in school, you'd be with your teammates, probably doing some off-season workouts. How are you able to keep working out? And are you in contact with Coach Sager at all in terms of getting some type of off-season workout program that isn't going to really rely on a weight room, because you don't have that to fall back on?
Yeah, shout out to Sager. He's phenomenal, and just like always, he sent us out a whole worksheet for the next 6 weeks since we've been home, basically, and it's all body weight stuff. Trying to find whatever weights you can around your house, and obviously it takes a little bit of creativity and dedication and just kind of finding new ways to do things, but being able to adapt and be flexible has been huge. But having that backbone with Sager, and I know Sager's putting on a workshop tomorrow, so excited for that.
And Sam, as a coach, how are you keeping in contact with your players and making sure that they're getting some type of a spring workout in?
Yeah. Right now, our team currently has Zoom sessions scheduled every week. So we've been meeting 2 different Zoom times, just because with time zones and some people eating schedules and all that, it's easier to do an earlier and a late one for people. So we get a huge group on in the morning shift and a huge group on in the evening shift. You can go to either, and just a way to stay engaged. We kind of talk through different announcements. This week we talked about registering and housing, because that's going on this week. So kind of making sure everyone's good on that front. And then we like to play some games. So we've been doing quizzes. The first one was like just a general knowledge trivia. This last week we did a teammate trivia. So we try to keep it fun, light, but also just a nice way for all of us to connect and see each other. And then also this week we planned our TP challenge. So for all those who keep nominating Fast Pitch, we're finally going to get that out there to everybody. Great.
Sam, you got to nominate the basketball team so that we get on it.
We're just going to have like a running reply list of just multiple people. We'll just keep it going.
I honestly thought that that Coach Foley would have nominated you guys, but I guess he bypassed you guys. So yeah, somebody's got to nominate the women's basketball team.
Got you. We'll do it.
Donny, you were doing some heavy lifting with the push.
Boy, that was hard work. That was hard. Good thing I had a good helper to stack them on there. I was just trying to be creative. You know, at 57, I don't have a whole lot of sports skills, so I had to do what I can do.
It was funny. I loved it.
Didn't someone accuse you of having all the toilet paper in Winona?
Yeah, that was about it. Yep, I'm looking for it now. Actually, I said this when we were with Coach Winicky too, because obviously Tommy is a baseball player, but what a great idea. You know, and I think it is a really neat way to keep, you know, our student body, our faculty, our staff involved. And, you know, it does force you to be a little creative and, okay, how can I do something to, you know, to keep this going? And I think it was a great idea. And I mean, SAAC, you guys are always coming up with really good, engaging things. And Zack, you're leaving on that compliment. And Clare, that's your challenge now, is you've got to keep that ball running, because it really, SAAC has really become a huge voice on campus and you know, now on Zoom. But I think you guys can be very proud of all three of you can be proud of what you've accomplished thus far. And I just see that with Clare's leadership just continuing.
I was going to say, we'll make a shameless plug for next week for those student athletes who are watching. Next week, in honor of Division III week, our board had talked about how they really wanted to still go ahead and do a kind of a resume building workshop or something with Mike Haggerty in the career services area. So next week at 4:00, so student athletes can get on and work with Mike on just how to use your transferable skills as a student athlete to your advantage when looking for jobs, internships, and all of that. So definitely something to take a look on and to join for. It'll be good.
All right, I think on that note, we'll end this Cardinals Nest. I'd like to thank everybody for watching.
Thanks, everyone. Stay safe and healthy.
All right, good.